Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? So, I'm Kunal Desai. I'm part of Walmart Labs. I'm super excited to be here today to talk about chatbots because I love chatbots. There are two reasons I love chatbots, right? One I love is first, as a user, I can type in anything I want from a chatbot. If the bot understands, it would respond back. If it doesn't understand, it would say, I'm still learning. But that's great. Like, unlike my wife, she will always react to my questions. So it's really good to have a bot. And the second reason why I like bots is as a product manager, as a business owner, if you can train the bots correctly, it can do a lot of, it can solve a lot of problems for your customer and make their life better. And as a business owner, it will help you ease a lot of your pain. So those are my reasons for the bots. So today, my topic is chatbot journey at an omnichannel retailer. So let me talk a little bit about the company I work at. So I work at Sam's Club, which is part of Walmart. As our CEO likes to say, we are a $59 billion startup within Walmart. We have almost 100,000 associates. And we mainly do on the wholesale side. So we are a bulk retailer. And we have close to 600 clubs. So from our members, what we are is they are families, large families. They might also be organization, small business organization, from restaurants to care organizations. So those are our customers. And with that, having so many stores, having so many millions of our customers, and we have thousands of products, they do have questions for us. And so they shop at our retail store. They come and shop on our e-commerce site. And these are three of the channels they contact us. And this was, just to set the stage, this was last year before we introduced Bot. So we had mainly the channels as calls, chat, and email. So what was going on in the marketplace was retail was growing for us, which is great. E-commerce was growing at around 30%, which was even better. But that's a great thing from a business perspective. But for us, it was a problem because I lead customer service from a product perspective, and we wanted to make sure that it can't impact the cost at the customer center. So the question was, how can we manage it? So we said, OK, let's look at some of the technology available. And this was 2018. I think that was one of the first year in the customer service domain where voice was less than 50% from a context perspective. Chats and SMS messages was taking over. So we said, OK, let's look into bots. So we started our journey into bots. We started the discovery process. And we started with a very aggressive vision. It's like we improve our customer experience by answering 90% of the questions by an automated bot. We said, like, OK, so we'll embark upon this journey. So the first step we took as part of this journey is we had live chat. So we looked at all the data coming from live chat. We kind of started understanding this. What are the top, as we typically do from a product perspective, we'll say, OK, what are the 80-20 rule? What are the top issues that we have? Let's try to address those. And as we started looking into that, we identified that if we bucket the top issues, most of the solutions for those issues are on the site. And so we said, OK, let's make a very simple bot and allow, whenever a member has a question, we'll map it to some of the links on the site. And so with that, we created a very simple and easy to use bot. What we'll do is a question comes in, let's say password reset, we'll direct them to the site. If there's about membership, we are a membership organization, so if membership comes in, we'll direct to the site. That's what we did. One good thing we did as a team was for club hours and locations, what we did is we took that data and put it in the bot. So if the question comes up, OK, where is a club near Concord, we will give you where the location is, and it will also give you the hours. So that was one clever thing we did. And in order to keep the CSAT score good, we wanted to make sure that if there is a question coming in, we'll direct them directly into a customer agent. We don't want to be a friction. A bot shouldn't be a friction to start with. So those are the three main goals we started with. But as we launched it, what we realized is, as many people like me, they would come into the bot and answer, put in text anything under the sky. And it became really difficult for our bot to understand what it is. So that generated low confidence responses, and it went directly to our customer support agent. The conversion funnel became come to the help center, open the bot, and went into the live agent. So nothing much was helping out there. So we said, like, what should we do next? We started peeling the onions and kind of understanding what's the detail around it. So we said, if the bot is able to understand the intent, the response has been really good. Like the clubhouse and locations, we had a great feedback from the community. So it was really good. But for others, where the bot couldn't understand the intent, we had a problem. So we said, okay, now how to make the bot understand the intent so that it can give a better response? We started backwards. So like bot understands the intent. We should then go identify how customer would ask those intent, which the bot understands. And then to make sure that the customer asks those intents, we said like we need to maybe guide them through that intent process. So with that, what we did is like we want to make our bot's life easy. It's like we need to work to make sure it can understand the intent. So we started with the guided discussion. So what happened is this really helped the customer. They will select the orders. If they like if they are looking for orders, then they'll come to the second menu and check for order status, and we'll show them the order status. So that really worked for us. And for this, the adoption of the feature was really good. It was almost 70 to 75% people started clicking those guided selection rather than answering the question at the bottom. So that worked great. We still had an option to still have someone can ask a question. Now, what happened here is we changed the top of the flow where how to identify the intent. So that was great. However, the bottom of the flow, which was basically navigating to the site, that remained the same. So there were still some of the questions were pretty generic. Okay. And so that also, again, resulted in the customer support interaction. So we, again, started thinking, what should we do next? How can we kind of stop it? This is one of the conversion flow where you want to block members going to the next step, right? So if you ask a question, try to resolve it right there. So we said, OK, we need to understand if a member is coming to a bot, they have a problem. They might have tried something on the site, might not have worked, and that's the result they are here. So we need to solve it for them. We also talked to our customer support agent and kind of understood what they do when the question comes up. Like, what is my membership? When is it due? What are they doing for that? And we saw that the customer agent has an awesome tool set. They have how to get the membership information, how to get order status information, and many other functionality. It's like, okay, we are in VR bot, we are within the engineering systems. We can help resolve that. So with that, what we did is, we thought, okay, let's make our bot intelligent. And what we did is, we started integrating into the order management system, we started integrating into the login system and the membership system. And what that helped us to do is, if there is any question coming around, let's say the membership renewal part, we won't say go to the site. What we'll say is, oh, your membership is renewed on May 11, 2020. So we started getting all the answers. I think E was mentioning earlier. We kind of started moving the automation part of it, and that kind of get into the bot directly. Also, wearing the human hat, we started thinking about personalizing greetings and responses. If the user was logged in, then we'll give the answer right away. If the user is not logged in, we will start asking questions. So we said that, okay, if you want to know the membership renewal, we'll ask them a question around what is your membership number and what is a zip code or something to identify that, and then we'll give you that information. So the one more thing we did was, I think that worked really well, is people need to use their membership ID for various reasons at the club. And they forget, it's a 17-digit number. So they do forget, which is obvious. So what we said is, we will ask them, again, authenticate that, and then email them that information so that they can have it in their hands. That's some automation we did. So with this, there was confidence within the management to kind of say, oh, this bot is working. It is helping the customer solve the problems, and it is available 24/7. So that helped us opened up. It became the primary channel on the help center. We went 100% live on production. But what happened is, when we kept asking some of those questions, we had a set pattern. We'll ask the membership ID, we'll ask the zip code. And if someone missed one of those information, we'll be blocked. It's like bot can't do anything, and it will say, I'm still learning. It's like, okay, we need to fix that. So it's like, how can we go ahead and make sure, because the answer is available, but the intent is not coming through. Or the verification in this case was not coming through. So like, how should we solve it? So what we did is we went in and started working again with our agents, and we said, like, do you come across this scenario where you are, let's say someone is coming from an order status, you ask them an order ID, they don't have an order ID, and you ask for a zip code and they don't have it. Like, what would you do next? It's like, we have 4 or 5 questions we ask to verify the member. It's like, okay, why can't a bot do that, right? So we started thinking about make the bot behave like a human. So in the next step, what we started doing is, we will, if you ask for check order status, we'll say, what is your email address? If you don't have it, then we'll ask, what is your membership number? Okay, when you don't have your other information, basically the idea behind that is we'll keep asking you the information, and we'll keep moving it. One thing I'll touch upon here is, the other way that really helped us is, we looked at, as we started working with our agents, we looked at scenarios that we can solve on the site, scenarios we can't solve on the site, and the agents can solve it. And it's like, okay, we need to figure out and go in and how we can solve problems that agents do it. So there's a flow where we need to ask multiple questions to solve it. And there is no good UI to kind of solve it on the site. But a conversational UI can definitely solve for it. So we started working on that. Just looking at the time, I'm going to skip that. But that was a big use case. So focus on things that an agent can solve, but it's not available on the site. Okay. So one thing, the 80-20 rule that we typically apply from a product perspective doesn't really apply in the customer service. Because it's a human, right? They have lots of questions. They have different types of questions. They will ask it's a language. They will ask in different types variation. And so we could only solve by looking at the 80-20 rule, only maybe I would say half of it or a little bit over of that. Like, we still have a long tail that we need to solve for. And for that, we need to have an active learning bot. So, and the active learning bot would help us aggregate what are the missed information, and with a human would come in and then try to tag those missed skills and create new skills out of it. And I'll go with that on my last slide. So far, we have more than 250 skills. We have 500,000 questions we have answered. And the rate we are going should be double this by end of the year. But the big impact is the adoption of bot has been around close to 21%. That has decreased the percentage points on the other channels, which is 12 on call, 5 on chat, and then 4% on email. So I'll leave you with this quote from our founder. As we have often done in the past, as a new trend in retailing develops, we want to be one of the first to test it, try it, and see it if we can do it better. And that's what we'll be doing with all the technologies at Walmart. Thank you.
Thank you. We got to move to our fireside chat. So we got 3 questions. First 3 hands up. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, thanks for your presentation. And I like your effort that you're trying to make the bot intelligent. I have one question about the training data.
Sure.
So I'm assuming the number of skills that you were talking about is possible because you have some kind of a efficient method of organizing your intents, correct? So what framework or what methodology do you use to organize them? Do you use ontology, or what is it?
No, so what we do is on the back end for us, we started using Rasa as a framework, and then we have data scientists who built on top of it with open source models. So they have built in-house tools that allow us to aggregate some of the missing skills, misclassified skills, and we kind of then look at those skills and start mapping it. But so we use automation for the aggregation part, but then we have human to kind of do the mapping.
Second question.
Hello. A few questions. So okay. Well, let me pick the most important one then. So if you skip, so what's your email address and for checking order status? What happens, like where do you decide, okay, this is the last time I'm gonna give an option and escalate?
Sure. So depending on the type of the question or what the information the member is looking for, we have 4 or 5 guidelines on what those questions we can ask to the member.
Okay.
And so if we exhaust those, then we kind of end up going to the agent. So that's how we kind of identify that.
Okay.
And last question.
Two-part question.
Sure.
Are you running this in the cloud or on-prem? And then how do you handle the integration to the systems of record that feed the bot?
I didn't get the second part.
The integration to the systems of record that feed the bot.
Okay, sure. So the first question, we are on cloud. So we are on Azure. That's where we are. And on the second part of it, yeah, so that has been, the integration of bot into the ecosystem has been one of the challenges we had. So we do integrate, like from a system of record, we do integrate with membership. So we will directly, if things change, we are going to make the change out there. We do integrate with order management system where we pull that information. We do integrate with returns. So depending on the system, we have a, because we sit within the environment, we can go ahead and update it if required. Okay.
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks,
Round of applause, please.
Thank you.